Okay, so we've all heard of life coaching, right? And we've definitely heard of psychics. But what happens when you mash those two things together? That's what we're diving into today, a coaching model that's all about helping you unlock your own intuition. You know that gut feeling you get? That little voice in your head that just knows something? Ever wish you had a clearer connection to that? I mean, we all have it, that inner instinct, but what if you could do more than just feel it? What if you could actually train it, sharpen it, and use it to make way better decisions? That's the powerful idea we're going to unpack. All right, so what exactly are we talking about here? The service is called Intuitive Light Coaching, and the key really is in that blend. It takes the solid, structured world of professional coaching and mixes it with, well, what it calls intuitive and mediumship abilities. So in plain English, that means using a kind of heightened awareness, that inner knowing, to guide the whole process. But yeah, the big question is, how on earth do you actually do that?
So before we jump into the nitty-gritty, the tools and techniques, we've got to understand the why behind it all. What's the core belief system that's driving this entire approach? Let's take a look at the philosophy that makes it tick.
Okay, so the whole thing is built on three main pillars. First up, it's personalized. This means they're not just reading from a script, It's all about your specific situation. Second, it's about creating a safe, compassionate space, which, let's be real, is absolutely crucial when you're digging into something as personal as your own intuition. And finally, the methods are flexible. So it doesn't matter if you're looking for a big spiritual breakthrough or just some solid business advice, the whole approach adapts to you.
And this is really where it all comes together. The goal isn't just about becoming more intuitive for the sake of it. No, it's about empowerment. The whole idea is to use these techniques to tap into your own inner wisdom, so you can start moving forward with way more confidence. It's really framed as a tool to help you learn to trust yourself again.
All right, so that's the theory, the philosophy. But what does this actually look like in practice? Like what happens when you sign up for something like this? Let's go ahead and step inside one of their signature workshops to see how all these ideas actually get put to work.
So the specific example we're going to deconstruct is this 90-minute workshop called Awaken Your Intuition. I mean, the name itself gives us a massive clue, right? The focus isn't on giving you intuition, but on awakening something you already have. And they promise to show you the so-called psychic tools to do it. And listen, this isn't just 90 minutes of some unstructured, random chat. No way. It's a really carefully designed journey. Just look at the flow here. It kicks off with the basics, then moves from theory into live demos, so you can actually see the tools in action. Then, there's a short meditation to get everyone centered before, and this is key, they break out into smaller groups to actually practice what they've just learned. It's such a clear path from learning to doing, all packed into one session.
Okay, so that agenda mentioned psychic tools and live demos, which, of course, begs the question, what's actually in this intuitive toolkit? What are these instruments they're using to help people connect with that inner voice?
So, what are we talking about here? Well, the workshop demonstrates four main types of tools. You've got Oracle and Angel cards, you've probably seen these. They're decks with images and words that are meant to spark intuitive insights. Kind of think of them as conversation starters with your subconscious. Then you have pendulums, which are basically weighted objects on a string used to get simple yes or no answers. And finally, crystals, which are often used to help focus your energy during meditation. These are the actual physical objects that people learn to work with. But here's the thing, this isn't just a one-and-done kind of workshop. The whole point is to give you something you can actually use long after the Zoom call is over. It's all designed to kickstart an ongoing personal practice for you. And here's how they make sure that actually happens. People don't just leave with some fuzzy memories. They leave with a whole toolkit for home. They get the meditation script to use again and again, a daily practice guide with super simple exercises like pulling a card each morning, and even lists of other resources to check out. It's all designed to help turn a 90-minute experience into a real, lasting habit.
Okay, so we've seen the philosophy, we've seen the practice, but who is this really for? And what's the big picture goal here? Let's get into that.
What's really interesting is that this service seems to target two very different groups. On one hand, you've got individuals on a personal, spiritual journey. They're curious about developing their intuition, maybe even exploring mediumship. But then, on the other hand, you have this really practical audience, business owners. They're looking for a new edge, a way to blend that gut instinct with their actual business strategies. So it really does bridge that gap between the spiritual and the practical. Ultimately, what it all seems to boil down to is accessibility. The stated mission is to take these ideas, which, let's face it, can sometimes feel a little out there, and to make them practical and available to way more people.
The core promise, really, from start to finish, is about helping people unlock a potential that's already inside them.
So after walking through how this whole model works, from the core philosophy all the way to the practical tools, it kind of leaves us with one final thought. If you could get a perfectly clear, unmistakable signal from your own intuition, what would be the very first thing you'd ask it?